We are in session January 10th, 2020. We have been reminded that whenever we speak into the microphones rather than leaning back in our chairs. Okay. First thing on the agenda is consideration of
We
the.
need to do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance.
I'm sorry. It's the second thing on
I pledge
Pledge
allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. We have in front of us the actual request for an advisory opinion. And has anyone read the manual that's at issue here?
I have not read it, but I reviewed it in a cursory manner last evening after Sharon sent it to us, and get a good feel for its purpose and its intent, and how it tries to regulate the collection of revenues, among other things, with regard to water and sewer services. And certainly after 30 years, it's probably quite apropos for it to be updated.
I'm glad. I did not get around to looking at it, so I'm glad both of you did. All right, the only issue is whether the applicant's participation as a council member in voting on this, or debating and voting on it, is prohibited by anything in the ordinance. And the ordinance prohibits corrupt behavior. That is behavior that serves one's own
Self-interest.
financial
Yeah.
self-interest rather than the town's. And I can only guess that the applicant's concern is that when you are head of a committee, for example, and do a lot of work on a major project, and I presume there was a good deal of persuading other people. That's how you do a project like this, that he would be accused of not being neutral on whether this manual should be adopted or not. And that's not against, it's not having a bias of that sort, that in favor of your own work product, never has been considered corrupt, in the sense of a violation of ethics. We can't even, larger legislative bodies can't work except by committee. And this was basically, I think it sounds like an ad hoc assignment with a member of the town council charged with the lead. And if this were improper, then the town government would have to shut down. So does anyone disagree with that or have?
No, I don't disagree. I guess just a couple of other points I'd like to make. Number one, when I consider the individual who submitted this request for an advisory opinion, I think about his background. I don't know it extensively, but one can gather from reading on the website a sense for his past work. He's retired now, as I understand it. Had this individual been involved in the construction business, for example, a developer or a builder here in town, then he might have some self-interest in terms of tap fees and things of that nature. So I certainly don't see anything there. And, given his background, and in fact, he states here in his request that he did seek, as he says, a lot of help from numerous individuals, whether it's the Department of Public Works head, which seems very appropriate, the town attorney, that I'm not even sure how much influence he had other than, and it looks like to me he was trying to gather subject matter experts and pull it together. I don't even know how much influence he had. I think he was hoping that they could kind of lead him in the right direction, and maybe he was just marshaling resources. And I know from previously being on the council that we would take on projects, whether they were something of self-interest or just that we were interested in the subject matter or it just needed to be done. So that's certainly not out of the ordinary either. And given that this manual is so old, it was probably time, I think it was 30 years old, time for a refresh. So based on some of those points, and of course, given, gosh, I don't know, the environment that we live in and work in, I think it was out of an abundance of caution. It was a good idea for him to ask for this opinion. I think he was trying to cover his bases. So yeah, I'm not seeing a whole lot here.
So no, let's vote all those who are in favor of finding that there is no ethical violation.
Although I guess his question is kind of two-pronged as I saw it. One was, number one, can I make a motion to approve the manual? And then number two, separate and apart from that, is can I vote on it?
Yep.
Is how I read that.
Why don't we end up with, I will send him an email today, and then, but I'll draft as soon as I can, which maybe Monday, draft the opinion and circulate it. Make sure it's clear on, that sort of point.
Okay.
Question is whether it would violate the ethics ordinance if this council member participated in any way in the discussion or vote on adoption of this manual. Those who believe that it would not be unethical or violate the ordinance indicate by saying aye. Guys have it. And I will send them a short thing today and we'll circulate something that will, these are supposed to be public, and this would advise everybody on the town council of what that rule is. So they don't have to worry about it. Got one or two administrative things. With respect to our decision yesterday, I will draft and circulate a memo that would inform the subject of our discussion as well as the town manager, I guess. But, let's get something in writing and you guys make the additions and corrections. I had sent, I guess yesterday, a draft note to the mayor on post-employment work by elected officials. Abundance of caution, I don't think we can vote on that without having not only have put it on the agenda, but having made it a public week in advance or something. So is there any problem with the formula I'm using here, which is simply, we can't vote on it, but as far as I know, no member of the commission objects to following our attorney's advice.
No, I have no objection.
Objection to the town council following our attorney's advice. Okay, that's great. We'll just do that. And I'll just say, for the record, this is the type of legal work that's invaluable. And
Absolutely.
by the way, quick in addition.
Right.
Mhm.
But I don't know.
Yes.
So,
He's certainly very responsive.
all right, we actually have on the agenda scheduling at least the next meeting. Might want to look at between now and the end of March, because we want to deal with the revising the forms. So one other administrative thing, is there any objection to my forwarding to the mayor a copy of our current rules of procedure?
No, I have no objection. Mm-mm.
I will indicate that we will be considering changes and maybe welcoming comments by the elected officials. Anyone have any problems in, let's say, the first or so? Super Tuesday is, what's Super Tuesday? No, that's an election thing. I'm going to be out of town from the 1st to the 9th of March. Anyone have any problems with March 11, 12, 13 to do a meeting on forms?
No, I don't have anything. Down to my desk at that point.
Yeah,
What day of the week is that?
so Wednesday, the 11th? One PM.
Is that good for you, Sharon?
Well, not looking at the calendar.
Right.
I can see, but
Okay.
could be.
All right, so that would be at least, we hope that we would finish the forms completely, but then we'd also have a little bit of time the rest of the month if we have to come back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that seems pretty comfortable.
February, I would like to, I'd like to start considering revising the rules. Want to rush things. Think that if have a goal of having them revised by March or April, but there's no reason not to start talking about it in February.
Yeah, I don't, sure.
Mike, you're saying in general, Wednesday's a better day than Thursday and Friday?
No, just that week.
Oh, that week, okay.
But, yeah, I'm pretty flexible.
I'm just going to throw out Wednesday, the 12th.
That day, in New York City.
Oh, all right, good. How about Tuesday, the 11th?
I can't do
Okay.
that. I know that.
Good, all right.
Okay. Anytime the next week, I'm available.
The 17th is a holiday, so. And I think this should be an evening meeting. I think we should announce.
Consider council meetings then too, because
Oh, you're right, that's a whole
yeah, we
point.
got the third week of that month, be a council meeting.
Tuesday.
How does that work for you, Sharon?
I'm fine. I'm fine staying. We do it at 6 o'clock, right?
Wonderful.
The 18th at 6? Was it the 18th?
PM on
Yes.
February 18th.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no, you know what we'll do is ask the mayor to announce at the upcoming
Excuse me.
town council meeting that we are going to be considering the rules of procedure at our February meeting. Comments in advance.
Sure, that'd be great.
Oh, just it. On letter to Mr. Mayor. And then I have to draft something on the other decision. Right. Any further comments, suggestions?
I don't have anything at this moment.
Okay. All in favor of adjourning indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned at 1:18 PM. I used to be a union local president. Boy, did I run a good meeting. It was just a wooden ruler, which makes as much noise as this.